I'm reading a Looney Tunes book right now, and this chapter just made me laugh. Chapter 6, gags, because it made me.
The name of
that's the
chapter?
Yeah, just gags. There's also an excerpt that I wanted to read to you about this book.
Did it make you gag?
It made me think about like sex gags.
I was like, what?
Like sex gags.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You know when you pull out handkerchiefs from your anus like a clown, just in front. Dude, that'd be gross.
Have you seen that Family Guy joke where they're talking about Mardi Gras?
I haven't seen any Family Guy joke.
Have you seen any family? Fuck. Hey, look at me.
You always are like,
look at me. We're just in shambles. We're in shambles right now.
We're falling apart at the seams. Anyway, I wanted to read this to you. This is from the Looney Tunes unofficial. This is really what's written in this book. When the CIA declassified the files that were on Osama bin Laden's computer before he was killed, 138 of those files were Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Nice. He was a big anime fan too. Osama was
like,
pretty valid.
It's pretty valid.
Did you see that Taliban, I think? They came out with a supercar.
A supercar?
I swear to God.
The Taliban. They got like an engineer to make a supercar.
No, they I think within themselves made a supercar.
For Formula 1?
No, a supercar is a supercar.
I don't know these things.
It's just like a car, like a Ferrari.
Okay. Why did they do that? Did it sell well?
No, I think they just made it to make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just to be like, hey, look at how cool we are. We're the Taliban. This ain't your daddy's Taliban. We got cool supercars.
We're the new Taliban, the new and improved Talibans.
Hey, you want a quarter to go play Miss Pac-Man down at the pizza place? Here you go, kid. And while you're there,
I would
blow up a building.
100% go to a Taliban pizza place. Would you not?
No.
Why?
Because they're the Taliban.
They have pizza though.
That's a good point.
See what I mean? And they have Miss Pac-Man.
Remember when you said I wouldn't fuck soup talking about fucking soup on the podcast, but you just said I would go to a Taliban pizza place?
Yeah.
Future
called the
employer.
Model 9.
The what?
It's a modified Toyota Corolla engine. And this thing looks fucking crazy.
It would have been really funny if they just put like flame stickers on the side of a Ford Taurus and they were like, hey, look at this. We made a supercar.
My question is,
why?
Why would they do that?
Why'd they spend the time and the effort?
I think they're trying to move away from the whole like terrorist organization.
Well, I think just from a PR perspective, that's a great idea.
It's a great idea. Now the car community is in support of the Taliban.
Yeah. That's a classic move. I remember when Hitler wanted to move away from being known for killing Jews, and he said, "You know what we need to do? We need to start getting really into that Hugo Boss guy. He's great at designing the suits."
Hugo Boss was there from the jump. I just want to say that right now. Hugo Boss was like, "Oh, I'm in."
He's like, "You're killing 8 million people a day.
And I gotta admit,
I'm in."
Hugo Boss killed it. He killed that shit.
I love that he was like, I think he realized very early on that they were the bad guys because he was like, you know what I'm gonna do?
Put lightning bolts.
I'm gonna put lightning bolts and I'm gonna put skulls on the suits.
I think he definitely knew, but it's still like, I'm sorry, it's not even a hot take. Their uniforms look good.
He made Hitler look like a dumbass, though.
They're the best. Maybe sure with the high boots,
with the high and those wide pants.
Everybody else though looked good, like ranking officials.
I don't
officers.
agree.
No, dude, they're not costumes. Uniforms looked good. It's just a fact. Hugo Boss slayed.
I think it's hard when you consider Nazis the epitome of evil.
When you take it away from that, and just from a fashion sense,
take it away from
take away the murder, take away the homicide.
How about the genocide?
We can take that away too.
Okay,
it looks good. Like Nazi. Like, I'm sorry. Like Hugo Boss. I'm gonna say it again.
I'm really hoping that you're gonna turn around. It looks like a mod era, like just nice dress. There's go-go boots, and you're like, oh hey, look
at this.
It
looks good though.
It's classy,
and that's where
evil.
That's where it gets you because it looks classy and like that's evil as shit, and it looks good. It looks better than any other like U.S. at the time like uniform like that. You know what's really weird to me?
What?
Do you know like Mercedes made a lot of stuff for the Nazis because they were like the biggest German car company at the time. Them and Hugo Boss still got a little thing going on. For a while, like I know for like the Formula 1 team, they made all the apparel for the Formula 1 team.
I like that I said Hugo Boss him as if he's still alive.
Yes, he is still alive actually.
They
wake him up in a cryo chamber like every like 5 years. He's like, make something. He's like, I don't want.
Where's my daughter? She's dead, Hugo.
But yeah, they still linked up for a while. And that was a little weird. In my opinion.
Hugo Boss and his dead daughter.
No,
he just did the thing where in Rocky was like sitting at the grave and he's like, I made another mod era dress today. They're really asking me to go back to the 60s. I don't know why.
I wonder, like, how did Hugo Boss, like, move on from that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and became a world famous fashion designer.
He already was.
But how did he get past
Like,
Nazis?
because everyone's like, you made this shit for Nazis. Like,
Yes, I did.
like I want to know, like, what he did. Like, how did he like
He
go
probably
away
got
for
Cary
a couple?
Grant to do something. He was like, Cary Grant, can you wear one of my suits?
Do you think he, like, went away for a while?
Did you say who?
Yeah.
You don't know who Cary Grant is?
No.
What?
I don't know who Cary
He's a
Grant.
a classic Hollywood superstar and gay man, quote unquote. He lived with a bachelor. He was like Hollywood's finest bachelors. He lived with one dude for 12 years.
Oh, he died.
He died in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
What?
Was he a James Bond?
He was in the prototype for James Bond North by Northwest, which took a lot. Which
He has the face of a Bond.
he does have the face of a Bond.
Like, he was definitely slapping women at the time.
I watched To Catch a Thief yesterday, which he stars in,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a part where
That's weird.
what?
He's in, like, that 50s in shape. Has that 50s in shape
Yeah,
look.
it's the 50s in shape, where
Look
he's
at that.
obviously sucking in his stomach.
No, he's not sucking this thing. He's just really skinny.
Yeah. Anyway, in To Catch a Thief, there was this big funeral scene, and he was talking to one of his friends there.
If you went to the 50s, they would think you had polio.
Me?
Yeah, with how skinny you are.
Why?
Because you're not even like 50s in shape. You're sick for someone in the 50s. They'd be like, oh my god, this kid has polio. Put him in the lung.
In the iron lung.
Put him in the iron lung.
Anyway, they're at this funeral scene, and this girl comes up to him, and she's like, you killed my father. And then instead of responding, he just goes, bah! And slaps her right across the face.
I guess since he was gay, he was fine with hitting women.
Well, he never played... Technically, in movies, he was always straight, because you couldn't be gay back then.
This thing I learned from journalism is that if there's smoke, it means a fire has started. So if there's
You learned
smoke...
that from journalism exclusively?
Yeah, because it's like if you hear a rumor going from about something, these are obviously
That's
just
just
fire.
a life lesson, though.
Well, I learned it from that.
Okay.
If you hear there's smoke, it means obviously came from somewhere.
Yeah.
So someone definitely saw Cary Grant walk out behind a bush, limping, and another guy walk the other way.
Did you not listen to the fact that I said he didn't ever live with a woman, but lived with one man for 12 years, and they're like Hollywood's bachelors living together, and those dudes were definitely fucking like crazy in that house.
That part. That went right through.
Oh, we really are in shambles today. We really are in shambles today. You spilled so much. I mean, you didn't spill that much, but that could have definitely gone worse.
I had a crazy dream.
Okay.
So I have...
That was the weirdest time to take a sip of water. That was the weirdest time to take a long sip of water. I had...
I wasn't even drinking crap for that.
You just had it up?
Yeah. I was like, anywho, why are you taking a photo of me right now?
Because Ksenia asked a question about the ring.
Did you just send it?
I did.
Fuck, I was trying to send it before you.
Well, I had a picture ready before you, even though I'm bad at using the Snapchat. We have to use Snapchat. Everyone was over at my house after we had a party and people were sleeping. Trevor left his entire Care Bear costume, by the way.
I noticed the hat.
It's just the whole skin of the Care Bear is in my bedroom. It looks like he went in with a knife and just fucking shucked a Care Bear clean.
And added a zip.
Yeah, that's how you put the stuffing in.
Yeah.
Usually they put it on the little butt so they can hide it. That would be so gross. Just to walk into a museum and see a stuffed deer and be like, I wonder what's inside this. Then reach into the anus and go, zhip, and then you can see everything.
It's another deer.
It's a small, that's giving birth.
Yeah.
It would be fucking weird if that was a rule. Whenever you did taxidermy, you had to put a smaller taxidermied animal inside of it.
It's like a, what are those things called?
Chinese nesting doll. Russian nesting doll. Why is that Chinese?
I don't know why it's Chinese. I feel like she's always out doing something.
She is.
Whenever she sends a photo of her doing something, or she's like posts a story, like something on her story, she's always out doing something. Like, I don't get how someone could always, like, I'm jealous, honestly.
She is always doing a thing. Like, she's out and about doing a thing, and it's honestly impressive, Ksenia, our producer. You showed me that before.
I know, I just like that photo.
Joaquin got the new update on his iPhone, and he has the picture of him as Batman. I love how many pictures are of you, by the way.
Well, it's with me and someone else.
I know it's with you and someone else, but for some reason, to me, it feels strange to have a picture of yourself as your background.
But it's with someone, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I only put that one as myself because I think the photo is hilarious. Because we already talking about you, Ksenia, so you're going to find out when we're watching this. But you did say hi, so you're welcome. Podcast, Ksenia says hi.
Ksenia says hi for the podcast?
Yeah.
Say hi. Oh, she says hi to the podcast. All right, we did. Producer Ksenia says hi from Snapchat.
I just said that.
We're talking double time. It's time for... That's not my tempo. I hate using Snapchat.
I had a second dream. I had like a 20-minute thing where I was like talking to different microphones and singing like Elvis. That was unrelated. But
I just
that
like
happened.
the idea that you're going into different markets, going testing.
I was, and then one made me
Testing.
sound like Elvis, and so then I kept singing the one that made me sound like Elvis.
I like that you're in a really like people are dying behind you. And you found one that's goes rider wiggle. That's not Elvis wrong.
It sounds like Sean.
I don't know
like
I don't know what he says in that song, but to me it sounds like he says, "Oh, Ghost
Blue
Rider,
Christmas?
wiggle those pots and pans." I don't know. I think it's from Grease, a film I've never seen.
You haven't seen Grease?
No.
I just watched Grease a couple nights ago. We've seen West Side Story.
Yeah. Why is that a weird?
Because West Side Story sucks, and
It
Grease
does
is
not
the best
suck.
musical ever.
No, I love
Yes.
West Side Story.
Grease blows it out of the water.
Okay. One time, I had to send a Snapchat, and I didn't realize that I did know I was naked because I just taken a shower.
Mhm.
But I was like, I need to respond to this, so I quickly took a picture of my Ninja Turtle toothbrush holder, and then I sent it, and then my brain went, "Your penis is in that." And I was like, "No, it wasn't." And then you can fucking look at Snapchats again, so I
You
couldn't.
can't if you hold it. Put that on your lips. Everything's happening to you right now. Like it pains me to look at your lips right now.
It hurts.
I thought it would fix the dead skinness. It did not fix the dead skinness. What's happening to you?
I
You
don't
need
know.
to see somebody.
I'm falling apart at the seams.
Like literally, your skin is coming off of you like a lizard.
Look, so we went to a party this weekend. It was holiday themed. Everybody dressed in normal clothes except for me, who did dress as Batman. Adam West Batman, to be specific. And we had to go. It was Friday the 13th. And I remember the next day, Ksenia said, "Hey, nothing went bad on Friday the 13th." And I said, "What about the whole dinner fiasco?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah." So what happened was...
She was mad.
What happened was we wanted to eat Indian food, and I suggested a place around us where we could eat. Now, I did not know there were 3 different locations for this place. So then we started to go, and we were going to the place that I knew, but then we saw the other car peel off to go towards a different direction, and we thought, well, that can't be good. And then we realized they were going to a different restaurant, so we had to turn and go to that
Of the same
place.
chain.
Of the same chain. Then we were in like a little downtown area. Everybody was dressed in normal clothes except for me, who was fully dressed as Batman.
Adam West Batman.
Adam West Batman.
With no ass.
Cape flowing in the wind. That's the benefit of the cape, though.
Then the cape blows away, and then you're just a 2x4.
No, that's what the diaper helps with.
You look like Rick when he's naked from Rick and Morty.
Okay.
His little butt. That's what you look like. You're basically Ribs and Dick. That's all you are.
Ribs and Dick. How
Ribs
did you
and
know
Dick.
that was my 90s rap group? We would open for Salt and Pepper all the time.
That was the pubic hair.
Yeah.
They were your pubic hair?
Yeah, it looks like Salt and Pepper. That's how the poster would be me, and then very straight, and then they would be around me like all tangled up. That was the posters for the venues.
I feel like that's when you hit your old age. Is
When you have
you're-
Salt and Pepper pubes?
Yeah. That's when it starts happening. You're like, I can't shave anymore now, because if I shave, we'll never come back.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not how that works. You just go white. You don't understand biology.
And I'm taking it.
You're taking it?
Yeah.
Taking it where?
At school?
Oh.
Where else would I be taking bio? I'm just like going to a fucking lab every day.
I thought you meant like when you grab something and you take it. Like actual
like a pill?
Like like a pill or a theft.
It's not a fucking Flintstone vitamin.
I didn't know what you meant. My brain didn't.
What else would I mean?
I don't. My brain farted, and I was like, "What does he mean take it?
Your brain
What's he
had a
taking?
diarrhea.
How is that a diarrhea?
I don't know.
What? Yeah, what made that worse than a regular
I don't know.
fart?
I got nothing today, man. I'm just
We got it. We're good. Watch this.
Ribs and Dick. I saw something like
Yeah, I planted something.
just like flew in front of me.
I basically put an entire hive of bees above your
Cloaca?
seat. Yeah, I put a cloaca.
What is a cloaca?
That's like the middle part of an ant, I think.
I
No.
thought it was penis related.
Oh, yeah, that's what a bird uses to shit and piss out of.
The corkscrew thing?
Nope, that's
Oh.
ducks.
Oh.
Most birds don't have a penis. They have like a...
Oh,
Huh?
it's like a one of these things, right? Like
Yeah, like a river.
it
It's
goes
like...
inside them. It goes inside them and pops out.
No. I don't know if it pops out.
It like goes inside them like inverted and they go.
I don't know what a cloaca looks like.
Oh.
Believe it or not, as an ornithologist, I haven't done a lot of research in... That's a
Oh.
bird scientist. Haven't done a lot of research into birds.
I want to shit on Velma.
I don't.
Why?
Because it's rude.
I think when you take the spot on IMDb for the lowest rated thing ever, there's nothing you can do to that.
Okay. It's not good.
It's not good.
I didn't enjoy it.
And the fact, I'm surprised they're not going to cancel it.
Well, the problem is that in the trade-off of it being very bad, is it's the #1 highest rated animated premiere HBO Max has ever had.
And I think it's just because people are like, no way it's this bad.
I remember seeing on Twitter people were like, no hate watching, and then I think a lot of people did hate watch.
I think everybody hate watched.
Well, I wasn't very optimistic.
Everyone did. And then you go 5 minutes in and you're like, what is happening?
I made it through the first episode and I was really trying to stay. And then when episode 2 started and they had Fred open his little curtain and show his tiny little dick, I thought, well,
it just bothers me they are openly making fun of Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
When you're making a Scooby-Doo show.
Well, the thing is, when you're making Scooby, you have to have it doesn't feel like they have any love for Scooby-Doo, because you can make fun of something.
I saw this guy, and he said, it feels like the people who wrote this show, how do I say this? They're like going over past trauma they've had in high school with the cliques and all the shit they're going on, the way people are being treated. It's like they were bullied out of their minds, and now they're like, oh my God, we have power to create something now. Let's show our trauma. It's what the show feels like. I
do think that showing your trauma through art is an important thing and something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
But you have to understand.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'll make this whole thing about to say short. You ready? It's Scooby-fucking-Doo.
I think you can put a lot of depth in the Scooby-Doo. I think that it can be something that's and you can explore those ideas, but you have to figure out how to strike a good balance.
But it's still Scooby-Doo.
It is. It's still Scooby-Doo, and you need those core ideas to be there.
We're there for this. Give us that.
But you also can be surprised by a Scooby-Doo. And the thing is, I think that this show still has the potential to be good, but a big problem with it is the idea of, and I'm not going to talk about the writing yet, but we can. I'm going to talk about the idea of stakes and impact in the story.
If you make this podcast episode, Why Velma Sucks, you will get so many views.
Do you want to call it that?
I guarantee you'll get so many views.
We'll try. I do very much appreciate. Let me just say, I appreciate Velma. I'm sure there's let's
appreciate it for what?
The animation and the art direction.
Is that it?
Well, I also appreciate the character of Velma, not in that show.
No, but we're talking about exclusively.
I know, but I'm trying I want to be positive.
Nope,
I like being positive.
We're talking about this show.
Okay, in this show, we're gonna do a huge compliment sandwich in which the 2 pieces of bread are the compliments, but the other things, yeah.
Go. I want to see how long this lasts. This compliment.
I love the art style and art direction. It's very unique. Now, the thing about it is that I've never seen a Scooby-Doo show that looks like this. And it also, a lot of adult animation doesn't look like this. Because for some reason in adult animation, they tend to go towards an uglier style for some reason. And I think it's just because it applies to the humor better. Because it's a bit more like crass.
Yes.
And this has that crass humor, but I think that the art direction is very unique in the sense that it has more angular style. And even though the characters look different, you can really tell who is who.
Yeah.
So you can be like, that's Shaggy, that's Velma, that's Daphne, that's Fred. And you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. There's other people who you look at and you're like, who are you? Is that red herring? But they're also doing an entirely new interpretation of them. So it's justified in them looking different. But I truly think that the animators and the way the show looks is very nice.
Okay. That was less than a minute.
Fuck, I was trying to go for a minute and a half. All right, now let me talk about a big thing I don't particularly like about Velma. Now, I don't like to be a negative Nancy. And Warner Brothers, one day I would like to work with you, but...
I wouldn't blame Warner Brothers, though.
No, I don't. I blame the... Well, the other thing is that they have a lot of people on this show that don't like animation. Like, there's that joke in that second episode where they say, 420 culture, what's that? And then Velma says, is that code for adults who still watch cartoons? Who's your target audience if you're not looking for adults who still watch cartoons? Because, by the way, you're awesome if you do that. That's what you do. Yeah. What are you doing?
I smell like salt and vinegar right now.
So the problem with the base storytelling in Velma, this is not the... writing yet. We can talk about that. I know you'll have something to say about this, but this is something that I specifically have noticed. They do not understand the value of stakes within their plot.
Yes.
And the trade-off of jokes and what is allowed to happen. And I have 2 prime examples. In the first episode, there's the example of Fred gets shot at the end of the episode in both of his legs, and that's treated as kind of not a huge deal, but still like it's a story beat. He falls down, he's injured. That's a new thing.
He's literally fucking shot.
He's shot. But it's not a moment that's played for comedy. It's a moment that's played like, oh shit, he got shot.
He's shot by a gun in a Scooby-Doo show.
Correct. Now, here's the thing, and we're going to loop back around to this. Let me give my other examples. In that same episode, what is played for comedy is a large blade is thrown at Velma. Fred catches it and throws it back, and it cuts off someone's leg. And that's played for comedy for some reason, even though that's a worse thing than that. So you can't have those two things because they're so drastic. Even though technically one could be played for comedy, but you need a consistency with that comedy. And the same goes for the second episode, where Velma and Daphne are engaged in a chase. And there's a part where they're rolling down a hallway, and they're rolling towards a window. And you're like, they're going to smash out that window. But they smash out the brick wall that's right next to the window. And the problem with that is it takes every amount of stake and danger out of the chase because they just survive falling through a brick wall.
Oh, mind you, while they do that as well, first thing, they're riding on a fucking suitcase.
That's not a problem.
But they're going at like 30 miles per hour. I'm just saying, as like a little thing.
That doesn't bother me at all.
That bothers me.
That's funny.
Sure, it can be funny, but then it's the fact of, they're riding on a fucking suitcase. Everything else about the show is pretty fucking ridiculous so far, and they're like, okay, we're riding the suitcase now.
That doesn't bother me in
From
any
a vehicle?
way. I don't think that should bother. It's not. But
It bothers me.
I don't know why.
It bothers me that they're running away from a vehicle on a fucking suitcase.
It's funny. That one I give them. But then when they fall through the brick wall, you lose all stakes. Now the thing about it is, there is a good way to do R-rated Scooby-Doo, in my opinion. I think someone who does it really well, actually, is that guy on YouTube, that Solid JJ guy, who'll be like, all right, gang, what do we need to do today? And they're like, an axe murderer came through here and homicided 3 guys.
And it's the guy, it's just the photos, the voices.
Yeah,
I love that fucking guy.
You're like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just killed 3 people. They're like, we usually do stuff with investment bankers. He's like, well, this guy, he would eat their dicks.
Yeah.
The thing about it is...
That guy coming... I want that guy on the podcast.
I would love to have him on the podcast. We should reach out to him. The thing about it is...
Scary.
Why would that be scary?
He's like a celebrity.
Someone came up to me at the party we were at and said, it's weird talking to you because you're like a celebrity because I listen to the podcast all the time.
Who said that?
Clarissa.
That's
Hi,
funny.
Clarissa.
Hello, Hi, Clarissa.
Hi. It was weird that you said that considering you're like
Why
our
didn't you say it to
friend.
me, though, bro?
It
Fuck's
was-
up with that, Clarissa.
yeah.
I thought we were cool.
I think it's because Clarissa and I haven't talked that much, which is strange to me.
Makes sense.
I do find it very strange. I always see them when they come into the party, and then I'm like, I'm sure we're going to talk. And then I don't. It's like they're Batman. They're just gone. I'm like, where'd Clarissa go?
And it's funny because I see, whenever Clarissa's there, I constantly see Clarissa anywhere.
I never
really
see
weird.
them.
That was how it was with me last time with Audrey. I barely talked to Audrey last time.
I was with Audrey the whole time.
I barely talked
We went
to
on
her.
that big long walk where it
Yeah.
was fucking freezing, where I was dressed as Batman. I was in spandex in below 40-degree temperature, and it was snowing. And I was like, it's so cold. And we were walking back to this party. I couldn't feel my hands anymore. And these people were having an argument as they walked towards us. And they said to me, hey, Batman, is it snowing out here? And I was like, sure is, Gothamite, but it won't freeze over the road.
Did you actually say that?
Yep.
That's fucking hilarious.
When I was at the Indian restaurant that we ate at, we finally got to that Indian restaurant.
You really said that to them?
I really did. These old people were looking at me. They were like, what the hell is that fucking kid dressed as? And I did like the salute and I went, Gothamites, and then I kept moving.
That's so funny. Oh my god. How did I not know that?
You weren't
Holy
there.
shit.
I don't know.
That's so funny.
Anyway, you can't do R-rated Scooby-Doo well. And that guy has proven it. He should come on the podcast. We should talk about his process. It would be great to watch you interview him and have me make little funny asides. But I think another thing that you particularly seem to want to talk about is the jokes of Velma, because they aren't good.
Yeah, they're just dumb. So my problem with the jokes, and there's also another problem I have with the way they write things on the show, is everything feels very forced. No joke feels natural.
Yeah.
They'll just like the 421 you made, right? That just,
I didn't. Don't give me that. I didn't make that.
No,
that's from the show.
You just mentioned it.
The way you said I made it, I was like, I didn't make that. I didn't make that. I don't want that. I don't want that.
I hate that joke. Was stupid as fuck. The best joke they had in the whole show so far, from what I've seen, wasn't even something someone said. It's literally, you pointed out, a 2-second clip where Daphne's watching TV. And behind her, the stray cat they just got, and it pees on the floor.
And it's so it's so small.
That is literally the funniest part of the entire show.
That was my second or third time watching the second episode because I've had to watch a lot for editing purposes, and that episode is what I was like, okay, that's funny.
It's the funniest part of the entire show. Everything else sucks. Comedy, I understand on a show like this, it's not really like developed comedy. It's more like slapstick, kind of feels like.
No, that's mean to slapstick comedy because slapstick comedy can be very funny.
It's not even slapstick. It's more just like it just happened. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Right? But when the joke is just fucking dumb, well, yeah, it makes no sense. But it's more just insulting.
Yeah.
To the concept of this fucking show.
The problem is that joke needs to come from character.
Yeah.
And a lot
it feels
of
like
the
it's coming
character
from writer.
It feels very forced in from an outsider perspective because the
it
other
feels
thing
like an
about
SNL
it,
sketch.
No, that's also because there's really good SNL sketches.
A bad one, like
It
recent
does
in the
kind
last
of-
5 years of SNL.
The thing about it is also, and this isn't a point I made, this will be in a Nerd Sync video that's coming out soon, edited by me. Plug for Scott and Phil. Scott and Phil come on the podcast.
I want to talk to Phil. Phil looks like a fun guy.
Phil seems awesome.
Yeah.
Two Locked Up Barbarian. He's cool. He pointed out that if Velma in this show was a gender-swapped character, like if she was a boy, that would be the most sexist character in the entire world. Because she's really hateful and mean towards women for some reason.
She's mean.
You specifically took a lot of issue with the way that specific jokes were written. Did you have any examples of jokes?
No.
Okay.
I just don't like how the whole show seems forced. Like the way they made Velma and Daphne lesbian, so fucking forced.
That
you
was
can do
a
that
strange turn.
You could do that in a show.
Yes.
Make it feel natural. It's been done so many times. It was just like, oh, they like each other now.
Well,
out of fucking nowhere.
The problem really is in the first episode, Daphne fucking hates
Velma. I know. In the second episode, she still doesn't like her.
Yeah, they have that like one chase scene together where they're like, oh, we're bonding as friends again. But it doesn't
And
feel...
then it gets sexual. Your camera died. And then it gets sexual out of nowhere. They are hiding in a fucking trash can. And then they run away, right? And they fall out of it. And they fall on top of each other, instantly get sexual. Why are we doing that?
Well, I understand the building of tension and like the idea that, oh, let's take a minute and let's kind of develop their romance to
why make them a romance? It just seems fucking dumb.
Well, the thing is that it's always been said, here's the thing. I'm all for Velma being gay. I love Velma being gay because there's, honestly,
sure.
If we're being frank, all
Velma's
the Scooby
gay.
characters are gay. At some level.
All of them?
I think that the only one who would hide the fact that they're gay is Fred.
Who's Shaggy fucking?
I think Shaggy's pansexual. Shaggy just fucks anything that moves.
Yeah. I don't see Daphne's being gay though.
I think Daphne would be bi.
I don't see Daphne or Fred as being either. I feel like they're the couple.
They are the couple. That's the thing. Here's the other thing. Even though I do feel very bad for the Shaggy in the show for never getting to have the relationship he wants with Velma, I'm not a fan of the Shaggy Velma ship.
Yeah, they can be friends.
They can be friends, but them being a couple doesn't work for me personally. And I don't think it works for a lot of the Scooby-Doo fan base.
No.
Because it's just a weird, I don't know. Their relationship doesn't feel like it's supposed to be that.
Well, I feel like Velma's relationship...
Did I clap when we started?
No.
Fuck!
I feel like Velma's relationship with the whole gang is really kind of the same with everybody.
The problem is that they're supposed to be friends, and they aren't. Like, in this show, none of them are friends.
Because it's supposed to be their origin stories.
But even then,
and what
we've
a
seen
shitty way,
their origin story.
Yeah. Like, it's like a reinterpretation. Like, no. It's a shitty interpretation of the origin story.
The other thing is, I'm admittedly very biased because A Pup Named Scooby-Doo is one of the best Scooby shows. But I love when they've been friends just their whole lives. They're little kids, they're babies in that show, and they're like, we're the best of friends. I don't personally like when they meet in high school. Because when the original show started, they were all friends. Velma's 15 in the 1966 show.
Damn.
And I think the oldest is Shaggy, who's 18. It's a weird color. I don't know.
It's a little weird.
It's also...
But they were friends, though, right?
They're just friends. I'm also fascinated by the fact that...
People shipped that?
No, they didn't ship until many years later when they were in the same grade.
Okay. I was like, whew.
People ship it in... The first time that Shaggy and Velma were put into a relationship together was in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, where the only bad... We should have had Audrey on this episode, quite frankly. Maybe next week we'll get Audrey
I just would have watched at that point.
You just would have watched?
Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll do an episode where it's me and Audrey talking about Velma.
What the fuck is this episode going to be then?
Us talking about Velma.
Okay.
But next week we'll have 3 episodes. I'll see if Audrey will want to do it, because on Thursday we're going to watch Velma again. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that you said, they are blatantly making fun of basic Scooby-Doo stuff. Like when in the first episode...
And just stereotypes in fucking general, too.
But they also don't... they don't know what stereotypes really are, or they're painting in weird broad brushstroke. Because in the first episode, there's 2 specific things where they say lesbians are really good at solving mysteries. I've never heard that before.
That's the one. Okay, I forgot about that one. That bothered the fuck out of me. So like, what's the basis behind that?
Where did that come from?
They just say it.
They just say, but they say it as if it's something everyone knows.
Yeah.
Which is...
Who? Give me one example.
I don't know it. Even in the Nerd Sync video I had, they were like, what's that a reference to? And then later in that same episode, Velma says, I'm not some bumbling drunk female detective who's on the verge of losing her kid like all the other detectives. What
is
other
that?
detectives?
That's what I'm saying. It's forced. They're just saying shit.
With those two in specific, and I really do, I hope maybe the show will get better. Who's to say? I don't understand what those are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what
Who is
it's
that
alluding
for?
to. Not even what's it for. It's just, like, if it's a reference, why is it a reference that I don't understand?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a reference that so far, everyone I've shown it to, or anyone who I've seen watch it, is like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. What the fuck's that about?
I am all for reinterpretation, let me say that. But the problem with it is you have to figure out where the line is.
Mm-hmm. When you're blatantly making fun of all the characters in the show,
Yes.
for any reason they can find of, Shaggy, he's a love-drawn idiot who'd do anything
They're
for her.
so mean to Shaggy in
They're
the
so
show.
mean to Shaggy. His name's
It's
Shaggy anymore.
His name's
They
Norville.
make fun of him for that.
I don't
They make
understand.
fun of Velma because they don't make fun of Velma. She's the main character. She's a bitch. That's all she is.
Everybody is mean-ish to Velma, but the thing is,
She's mean to everybody else.
she's meaner. She's a bully.
Yeah.
Velma is a bully.
Yeah, and they go to the whole stereotypes, like more stereotype based, like the divorced dad and the parent drama. All
That's
kind of
the other
shit.
thing that in the Nerd Sync video, which might be out at this point, I'll link it because I've talked about it so much. Velma's a fucking bitch to her stepmom, who's really actively supportive
Yes.
and very nice. But Velma just out of nowhere is
And
like,
then-
you suck.
And then Velma keeps getting mad at the detectives who are Daphne's parents
Yeah.
for not looking for her mom. Bitch, it was 2 years ago.
It's a
When they can't find anything, they literally, like, the words can't find means
Yes.
we can't find the motherfucker.
But Velma keeps bringing it up like they're actively on the investigation, which they aren't.
They can't.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else.
The case has been closed.
Yes.
I was reading this one comic, by the way. It's a comic called Plush, which is written by the same people, written and drawn by the same people who made the comic Vinyl. And there's a part where he's in this, like the evidence room, and the cop of the town says, "Look, you're gonna marry my daughter, and if you don't, because they're already in a relationship, I'm gonna tie her name to one of the cases I got in here. I got pedophilia cases. I got arson cases. I got murder cases, cannibalism cases. I'm going to put your name on one of those if you don't marry my daughter." And I was like, holy shit! Who would do that? Who's that crazy?
Holy shit. That's terrifying.
Right? I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, how's he going to get out of this one?
I want to know how he's going to get out of it.
It's crazy. That's
Does
a
he
good
get out of
comic.
it? Or is
I've
it-
only read the first issue so far.
Holy shit. That's the first issue?
That was the first issue. What do you think that series is about? It's called Plush.
I don't know.
It's about a gang of cannibal furries hunting down a person who had just saw them eat a person.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
And he's locked. Right now, he's locked in a prison or a little jail.
That sounds kind of cool.
It's really good. I like this artist and writer. I don't know
Anywho,
their names.
fuck Velma, basically.
I don't want to say fuck Velma. I really don't want to give up on
I'll
Velma.
say it for you.
Well,
don't give up on it. Dude, this ship has sunk.
I love.
It's sunk and then blown up underwater.
Well, this was another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Immediately after we watched Velma. Now, you aren't a big Scooby-Doo fan overall. But after we watched Velma, I showed you an episode of What New Scooby-Doo Classic Show, one of the best Scooby shows. And I feel like your entire worldview
I was
of
like,
Scooby
this is good.
changed. Yes.
This is good.
There was Own the Castle.
I was the funny. There's funny jokes in that.
Yes.
Like that are like stupid jokes, but they're funny
Yeah.
because they're just like right.
Yeah.
This is like in Velma. It's like we're going at the culture. We're making fun of the people.
The other thing is that Scooby-Doo needs to be something that's very earnest, I think.
Yes.
There can...
My thing, right? I'll end the day. I'm gonna say this. I'm not a Scooby-Doo fan.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo is meant mainly for kids.
It's a family program.
It's a family program meant for kids, right?
And I do think you can put adult humor in it.
You can put
in the
they
in
do.
the live action movies. They've proven that it works very well.
Hundreds of times, and with other things outside of that, like children's shows that you watch again as an adult, and you hear a joke like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious!" Because
Yeah.
you're an adult person now. When you're making a show like Velma, okay, fine, you can make an adult version of the show, but that's like going and making like a Batman or a Spider-Man show that's just porn, because kids like superheroes. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna know. They're
Yeah,
like,
if they
oh,
look
it's
it
a
up.
Batman show, and they watch this and they're seeing Batman get fucking deep dicked.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They're not ready for that. Same thing with Velma. Like you're making a show that's meant for. It's based. The original thing is a family program.
Yeah.
And you're making a show that is made for adults. You can't just do that. And you can do that, but you have to do it the right way.
Yeah, you have to do it the right way.
You have to do. There has to be boundaries.
Yeah.
There has to be things you can't break, like certain rules, and they just don't give a fuck.
I do. Here's my thing. I very much agree that I think a kid's thing can be reinterpreted for adults, but you have to have these people in Velma. So far, it doesn't really feel like they have a real love for original classic Scooby-Doo. And the thing is, and I also even think that Scooby-Doo is something that can be reinterpreted on every level, as a kid show, as a little kid show, as a show for like a teen drama, like an OC kind of show, or as an adult comedy.
I thought something I wanted to talk about. Sorry.
Okay.
You just reminded me, but it's too late now.
The way that you have to do it, the way that you have to keep it good, or not good, good is subjective. The way that you should do it is the main core group of Shaggy, Velma, Daphne, Freddy, and Scooby. Basically, in every version of it, keep them the same. They go through character arcs, they can change as characters,
And
but they need to
make them different races or whatever the fuck. You can do that.
Yeah, that doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter at all.
But the thing about it is, no matter in what interpretation, I think that you need to keep the Scooby Gang as a Scooby Gang, as they were in the 60s show, and change the world around them. That's what that Solid JJ guy does so well, is he keeps them as Scooby and the gang, and then he's like, there's a real homicidal murderer on the loose. Like, there's that one where he's like, that's just a guy in a sheet with an axe. But yeah, I think it can work. I especially do think, I think PG-13 is probably where you should stop for a Scooby thing. I don't think R.
But then we have Solid JJ, right?
He does it
R.
He does it R.
But he does it right though.
Yeah,
because he still makes it. I think would be really good is that everything else rated R, but the gang, they're still just the gang.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's the way it should be. That would be fucking hilarious.
I think that would be funny. I genuinely do think, and you can kind of tread the line of going a bit harder with PG-13. I do think it should stay there, just because at the end of the day, I think it should be for families.
Supernatural, the clip you showed me.
Yeah, like Supernatural did it really well.
Yeah.
And what they even there's this shot in that episode of Supernatural where one of the Supernatural boys are looking at Daphne, and they like gave her a real ass through her dress, and he's like, "Bawonga!" And you're like, this is strange. He's really staring at Daphne.
They even had the moment in that where they aren't like their characters anymore. They're like freaking out.
Yeah,
and that's great. I just think, plain and simple, poor adaptation of the shit. Distastefully, mainly.
It's done without love, and you need love. Because as everyone knows,
it's like what proven happened with the Star Wars trilogy,
with the
new one.
Okay,
the people didn't really give a fuck, or if they did, they didn't give enough of a fuck, and they screwed it up.
I can't talk on that.
I can say because no one liked those movies.
Okay,
they liked the first one. You want to know why? Because it was basically just A New Hope again.
People like the second one
a lot less though.
It's a real divided thing. I
saw people who were really, really willing to go find George Lucas, and he wasn't even part of these ones.
To go find him?
Yeah.
Why would they find him?
Because he's, I don't know, just a scapegoat kind of thing.
That's mean.
Yeah.
What were they gonna do? What were they gonna do?
I don't know. All I know is they want to go find George.
Beat him up?
That's
scary.
I know.
I would hate if someone said, "I'm gonna come find you." Do not. Do not come find me. I'm good. Keep me hands off from that. Let's keep me away.
I don't know. It's just people, or J.J. Abrams, they were really, really... But that was kind of a fucked up thing, though, because what happened with J.J. Abrams in that time. That's Justice League. My fault. I don't know why I got those confused.
You got confused with Zack Snyder? You didn't even have the right guy.
Yeah, you just can't do something like that. It's a big deal and just fuck it up. It's just wrong.
Yeah, Audrey, if you watch this episode...
It's like the Mario movie.
Mario movie looks cool. Mario movie looks fun.
Everything else but Mario. They fucked up Mario.
I don't know what they...
Everyone else was cool, but they fucked up Mario. Sonic Boom. Fucking great, because it was just Sonic characters.
The show or
the show, Sonic Boom. That show was fucking good, because every character playing like as themselves. Knuckles not as aggressive, but he's still pretty aggressive still.
Well...
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Can I tell
the
you
live action one.
I love that movie.
But they fucked it up, though.
Oh, you mean the new one?
The new one.
The second one's really good. Have you seen the second one?
I've watched the first one.
It's not like high art, but I love that one.
I didn't watch the show as much, but I still knew like the basics of the characters. And then when they went in on how they like the characters, like they were just all wrong.
I've pitched this to Audrey a couple times. I've told her that if she was less, I haven't told her if she was less. She said if I was less busy, I would like to do that, but she's got so much on her plate. I've pitched her a couple times. Her and I doing a podcast where we watch through every Scooby-Doo thing. At least the movies.
What do you mean? Like together during the podcast?
Not like we watch it separately, then we come together, we talk about it on the podcast.
Okay. That'd be cool.
I like that idea. Scott Nicewander, who is the guy who does NerdSync and I work for He did a
What's his last name?
Nice Wonder.
That's a cool last name.
It's an awesome last name. Scott's a great guy. He once did a podcast where for all of October he watched Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed every day.
What?
He did it like for 29 of the 31 days. And he was like, what am I going to get out of it after these many days?
What did you get out of it?
I didn't watch it because I didn't watch NerdSync at that time.
Oh.
But I want to go back.
Air?
Because it was before the time I watched it.
You always watch NerdSync.
Yeah, I was there from the beginning, Scott. I did, when I met him, I was like, I've been watching you since high school. And he was like, don't say that, it makes me feel old.
Ugh, that doesn't happen to us.